Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and it's good to have you if you're new. And if you've always been here, hey family. I want to talk about the cost of all the good things you want in your life. Yes, all the goals you want to achieve, there is a cost to it. Let's talk. I was listening to a podcast the other day. By the way, I've started this thing of where I really enjoy walking. Like walking. Just put on your walking shoes and just walk. And an hour later, you've done it for fitness, you've done it for your heart, and even your mind is clear. I used to be so much into podcasts. I would listen to Robin Sharma, Tony Robbins. Who did I listen to? The Simple Sophisticated podcast. What was there's another one that was really my favorite that I keep forgetting. But if I do, I'll put it in the description box so you can actually check it out if you love podcasts. I tried doing a podcast myself, and I just don't think that's me for now, for this season. I don't think so. I've been asked to transcribe the videos of YouTube into podcasts, and I'm like, okay. To each their own. I love it here. I love it here. But anyway, so before we digress, podcasts. I was listening to a podcast by Brooke Castillo, but yeah, there's an L. Flavia is saying Castillo. But I will put the exact podcast I'm talking about in the description box. She was talking about, and I really love her for being relatable. She talks about things that you feel like, yes, that's my life. Oh my God, yes, you make sense. But she was talking about the cost of your goals. And and first of all, I was walking, I was like, yes, how had I not described my life like that? She was talking about how we all know what we want. We all know, like, this is the goal. The goal, for example, right now I'm on a journey to lose weight, but she even helped me to like change that. She said, you're not really on a journey to lose weight. You're on a journey to be healthier. So just putting in place things that will help you get healthier. But back to the cost of your goals. If your goal is to lose weight, right? She's saying that before you start the goal, before you embark on the journey of committing to that goal, do a cost analysis or a cost-benefit analysis. What will it cost you to get to this goal? What will you have to give up to get what you want? What will you have to do despite it being a challenge to get to where you want to get to what you want to do? And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Because, for example, like, listen, I knew that I can exercise. For me, I've got the discipline to be, for example, these days I took up hobbies. I went back to playing tennis. I last played tennis when Andre Agassi was a big deal. That's some time. And a friend of mine, Susan, gave it to me as a birthday gift. And I love it. So twice a week, I'm doing tennis. And listen, for me, I can work out. Put me in a gym, put me on a walk. I even have dumbbells at home. But the food, and I actually don't necessarily eat like a lot of food. I just eat the wrong food too many times. Like, I know that plantain is good to a certain extent. But for me, it will be like, you see, I'm not eating lunch. I'm just going to eat plantain. I don't want breakfast. You see, I'm not eating breakfast. So I'll just have some plantain. It's nothing. It's just bread. But also, if it's just one slice of bread every day, it's okay. It's better than it. You guys, the food. I wish we had like a community of, I can't stop eating badly. Like, I wish we had like a club, because I think we'd thrive. That has been a problem. But that's because every time my goal has been get to your desired weight or lose weight, I had never put the cost-benefit analysis. I'd never really put in perspective what I would have to give up to start the goal. Because that tells you, should you even be wanting that goal in the first place? You want to lose weight. But if you know your problems, then the cost to getting there is higher. It's something you're not even willing to give up. Then what's the point? Don't even start that goal, because you will not achieve it. And then you'll get frustrated and start calling yourself a person who's not disciplined. I can never achieve my goals. I don't want to. No. Just assess and say, this goal is nice, but I'm not ready to give up here. And because I'm not ready to give up here, I cannot get here. Or, as she says, you can just rewire and say, because there are people I've seen, like, we used to go to that gym at Acacia Mall. And there are people, you came in, you found them in that gym. 3 years later, you're also working out. They're the same size. I'm like, but you guys, what's up? And they're like, oh, you see, for us, we work out too much because we can never stop the food. So for them, they figured out the cost of getting the food off the plate is higher. They'll just do a lot more gym. But you see, for some things you can't. You cannot outwork a bad diet. You can't. So if the cost is high, just accept for you. You say, this is my life. This is how I'm going to stay until one day I'm given a health scare and I just lose the weight drastically. Because I've stopped it. So I put into perspective that the cost of living certain foods that I love is high, but I'm willing to do it. So for example, I'm in charge of the shopping at home. I just want to buy the plantain. And then I know the restaurants where the plantain is so sweet. Just have my meetings in the opposite direction. I know the friends who know what I like. So when they invite me to their homes, they'll prepare what I like. Those are the people you meet, a brief breakfast meeting, quickly, let's meet and we go. I know my problem. I've weighed the cost of what it takes for me to get to where I'm going, and I'll get there because I'm eliminating those things. But the second thing she mentions out of doing that analysis of yourself is that the outcome, let's say the body goals is my thing that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to being able to look at a six-pack. I don't know what, body goals. I'll put the body goal here so you can check it out. That's the results or the outcome. But the process should be enjoyable, right? She says you get frustrated because even after working out for like 3 weeks, you don't see the difference. And you're like, I am so far from the goal. What's the point? So the cost of your goal is time. So it's easier if you enjoy the process. So that's why I've told you that for me, I decided the gym wasn't for me. Those things of going every day at 6 p.m., whatever time I go to the gym, everybody's working out. I look at someone and I'm like, now, how many children do you have? None. No wonder you're starting to be jealous in the gym, So I said to myself, I can't do that. What I'll enjoy is a walk alone. I enjoy a solo walk. I just be in my thoughts. I enjoy the tennis. Now I'm looking forward to adding one more thing, which is dance, because I used to do dance classes and it was enjoyable because then I'm not really thinking that I'm trying to lose weight. So the process should be more enjoyable than the outcome. Like you really should do things in a way where you enjoy it. You understand? Even when they say work, even when your goal is like maybe career or something you want to study, do it in a way that you can enjoy it, because then your head isn't so much on the goal or the outcome. It's just on the fun that you're having, the journey, and then it becomes easier, okay? The third thing, which is the final thing, she says that in the cost to your goals, in when you reach a point and you've hit a snag and things are not working the way you want them to work, recalibrate, reroute. Don't say, I have failed. I think we're talking about this when we're talking about the Britam series of saving, where Marjorie was saying that, sometimes people get discouraged. The house you want to buy is 50 million. You've only saved up 3 million after a year. And you're like, 3 million is not close to 50 million. But the shoes I want are just 300K. I mean, it's just 300,000 shillings. But the house is 50 million. So, it's closer to being eaten than to being saved. So it's that thing that if you hit a point where you're like, the 3 million isn't worth the dream that I have, isn't there a smaller dream that you can achieve with the 3 million? So rather than you now defaulting back to zero, just find something that you can do within that. The problem with us is that because that's the thing you wanted, and that's how you wanted to get to it, and that's where you wanted to go, you don't want to look the other way, you don't think anymore. But yet the results you have now, the movement you've done now could be good for you in a certain way. I'll give it to you, for example, cars. I don't drive a car. Okay, I don't own a car. I drive a car. And every time I tell myself, do you want to buy a car, Flavia? Do you want to get a car? I'm like, yes. What car do you want to get? And I'm like, I don't know. I want comfort. I'm like, Flavia, not yet, right? You don't want. If you're not sure of the exact, I'm like, I know the car I want. But the car I want, I'm not able to afford right now, right? Even if I'm able to afford it, quote unquote, there's so many other things that I'm trying to do. So I don't think I'm comfortable spending maybe X amount of money on a car. So my goal maybe was to get a car. What I've rerouted isn't necessarily the car I want. I've rerouted my timeline. Exactly, right? So rather than say I want a car this year, I'll say I want a car if A, B, C, D is in line. I will buy a car worth, let's say, 15 million shillings if This is in place for me. This is in place for the kids. This is in place for the family. Even if these things get fixed next month, I'll buy the car I want. If they get fixed in a year, that's when I'll buy. So the goal is the same, but based on the cost of what it will take for me to achieve that goal, I've rerouted my timeline. And the timeline isn't 6 months, 1 year, in 2 years. No, the timeline is, what do I have to have in place for me to be able to do this? My children need to be okay. I need to be secure. Our family needs to be secure. I need to have this, an emergency fund. I need to have this saving. If these things are in place, then we can blast. We can be in the Maldives every 2 weekends, darling, So I've just rerouted the when we get there, the timeline. And that's, guys, there's no stress. I can't explain that to you that I have so much peace. I sleep well. Even if it's 2 hours, I sleep deeply well because my goal is not strangling me. And that's what happens to us. And I think for men more than women, men get more frustrated. Because it's not just you deciding. You've got maybe a family and you've got people putting you under pressure to achieve the goals. And you just change a few things. So honestly, that podcast changed my life. So just to recap for you, I know I have recappers here on YouTube who like, what are you saying? The first thing you said is do a cost-benefit analysis. You want this goal. Analyze all the costs. What will it take for you to change, to do, to add, or to remove for you to get that goal? Is it something you can handle? Great. If it's something you can't, leave it, postpone it, change it, something. The second is value the journey more than the outcome. Okay? Yes, you want to get the 6-pack, but imagine how much fun you have with your running club. Some of you climb and hike mountains together, Some of you have cycling clubs. I saw my friend DK, she's got a group of people going to spin class. I mean, she is having a blast while she's getting to her goals. So enjoy the journey because that fun sustains you even when you get your goal. It's like, on to the next because now it's a lifestyle of having so much fun. And the third, of course, the outcome is there, but don't get too attached to it. Recalibrate if things get tough. If you figure out I can't manage it in the 6 months I promised myself, if the 10th March you promised yourself is around the corner and you think you're not, it's okay. Recalibrate, sit down and say, okay, what else can I do to get there? What do I need to have in place for me to get to my goals? And easy peasy, life gets more smoother and you get your sanity back. Bye.